Warriors! Have you ever seen the story, The Tortoise and the Hare? Do you remember who won the race? Was it the hare or was it the tortoise? My name is Coach JV. I am the top health and mindset coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. I'm the guy who says, don't believe a word I say. Learn how to fish, warriors. I'm not claiming to be some expert, but what I am is a person who spends about 8 to 9 hours of my life researching digital currency, fourth industrial revolution, and the quantum financial system. With 12 years in banking experience, understanding deep-rooted banking and how to scale banks from the ground up, and understanding digital currency and cryptocurrency, and understanding where we're heading in the fourth industrial revolution, I make my own financial decisions and investment decisions based on that knowledge. Now, all of us do not know who the Wizard of Oz is. As they went down the yellow brick road, they had no idea when they pulled back the curtain who it was going to be. And lo and behold, they were shocked to see that it was a little man with a microphone. So as we go through these videos today, 2 times a day, every single day, for the next 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 years to infinity, I want you to know that I'm not asking you to trust a word I say. I'm not even asking you to follow me. What I'm asking you to do is get out your fishing pole, warriors, and learn how to fish for yourself. Because you're stuck in a system called the job, just over broke. A system that keeps you in a debt-based society, it keeps you in a vicious cycle that keeps you from bringing the money back to your family. I'm just here to educate you. Say what you mean in the comments. Just don't say it mean, and let's go. So I want to share with you guys why I think XRP is a tortoise, slow and steady. The SEC slowed us up a little bit, but it's a slow, methodical movement. Now, I like to look at videos from way back, some recent past, and some right now. And I like to tie the dots together of where I think we're heading. But remember, we are all speculating. So now I'm going to show some videos around Bill Gates. Now, this isn't to say that I'm for Bill Gates, against Bill Gates, whatever it is. I just look at facts, figures, numbers, logic. I make the best decisions to help my family build generational wealth. And I believe by 2050, I'm going to bring peace and prosperity to the world. How am I going to do that? Instead of complaining about the elites, I'm going to become one of the elites and change the narrative. Pretty simple, right? Maybe big dreams to you, or maybe, pie in the sky, or pretty, I was about to say nefarious. Unrealistic, but I don't live in a realistic world. I live in an unrealistic, unlogical world, and that's how I got where I am today. Leaving corporate America 3 years ago, and on my way to building generational wealth. So let's get right into it, warriors. So I want you to listen to this video. This is the type of stuff I watch. Only 678 people watched this video since September 26, 2019. This is what I spend my life doing. So I want you to listen to what he says during this beginning speech.
Enormous difference. I believe that when you started, we heard in the kind of proto-history of financial inclusion, and today we are really in a very dynamic movement everywhere. So, on behalf of the United Nations as a whole, I wanted to thank you very much and to say how proud I am that you have accepted to go on remaining as my special advocate. And I
hope you guys all clap for him.
Thank the group of Friends for Financial Inclusion for their work and for co-hosting today's event. Achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development depends on adequate financing.
Okay. Keyword 2030 Agenda. When I say that, do you know what the 2030 Agenda is? I want you to think about that. Put that in your toolbox. You need to study that.
Based on the global partnership agreed in the Addis Ababa Action Agenda. This relies in turn on taking full advantage of the fintech revolution. New financial technologies, institutions and markets have great potential to extend financial inclusion and to facilitate investment.
To expand financial inclusion, fintech companies, financial technology. This in September 2019. What happened to us in 2020 that forced us to use technology, that forced us onto Zoom calls, that forced our kids at home, forced our kids to use their phones, forced us to use digital wallets.
Since 2011, the proportion of people with access to formal financial services has risen from 50% to nearly 70%. Some 1.2 billion additional people now have access to savings accounts, credit, payment plans, and insurance products. These services can help people and communities to build resilience and to make the most of opportunities. New financial technologies have also reduced operational costs, enabling governments to reach people with financial services more easily. They can facilitate investment and help small businesses to access credit. And they can help to fight the tax evasion, money laundering, and illicit financial flows that can drain resources from the developing world.
That's CBDCs right there, Warriors. That's CBDCs right there.
However, despite this enormous progress, some 1.7 billion adults still do not have an account with a financial institution or a mobile.
Stop for just a moment. 1.7 billion adults do not have access to financial inclusion or that's what you're invested in. You're invested in something like the internet that 1.7 billion people do not have access to. You are an early adopter.
Mobile money provider. And more than half are women. Gender equality is a proven driver for ending poverty and building sustainable communities and economies. And so it's particularly negative that more than half of those that are deprived of these instruments are women. The strategy for financing the 2030 Agenda that was launched last year sets out ways in which the United Nations can support a fundamental shift to align global economic policies and financial systems with the 2030 Agenda.
Did you hear what he just said? The United Nations can align with government policies for the 2030 Agenda. Listen who he thinks.
Seizing the potential of financial innovations, new technologies, and digitalization to provide equitable access to finance is one of its three key objectives. Beyond the United Nations, I'm pleased that the G20, the Gates Foundation...
You hear that?
Equitable access to finance is one of its three key objectives. Beyond the United Nations, I'm pleased that the G20, the Gates Foundation, and others are prioritizing financial inclusion and more...
All he said was the G20, the Gates Foundation, and others. The G20, the Gates Foundation, and all the others. Well, Warriors, financial inclusion. Ripple and the Gates Foundation team up to level the economic playing field for the poor. This is a while ago. This is in 2017. This has been going on for a long time. Now, who's been meeting with the SEC since its inception? Ripple, XRP. Are you starting to see the political narrative that I see when I go a little bit deeper? Actually, not a little bit deeper. I got my shovel warriors. So Ripple and the Gates Foundation team up. This gentleman right here, he is all over the meetings, all over the world. You got this, it's amazing. He just said the G20 and the Gates Foundation and just the other people. September 26, 2019, financial inclusion. Ripple and the Gates Foundation team up to level an economic playing field. Many of the world's poor developing countries, nearly 2 billion, according to World Bank, struggle to lift themselves out of poverty simply because they don't have access to a bank account or financial services. This is the type of thing you're invested in, Warriors. Now check this out. This is Bill Gates talking about, this is on February 22nd, Bitcoin in 2021. Now I'm not saying I'm a Bill Gates fan. I'm saying I'm going to become the elite and you can become the elite and we can change the narrative. What I mean by elite is God's money, moving money back to the people.
Tesla could potentially make more money from its Bitcoin investment this year than profits from electric cars in all of 2020. What's your take on that? What's your Bitcoin take and the fact that the price can just go up or down based on a simple tweet from him?
Well, look, Elon has tons of money and he's very sophisticated. So, I don't worry that, his Bitcoin will sort of randomly go up or down. I do think people get bought into these manias who may not have as much money to spare. So I'm not bullish on Bitcoin. And, my general thought would be that, if you have less money than Elon, you should probably watch out.
Why aren't you bullish on Bitcoin?
Look, there are things we invest in society that produce output. Bitcoin happens to use a lot of energy. It happens to promote.
That's key what he's saying. Okay, remember financial inclusion. Okay, we have the 2030 agenda, which is moving to zero carbon. That's why 2050. That's part of the 2030 agenda. That's why I told you to research the 2030 agenda. Okay, the whole narrative is that Bitcoin's dirty, costs a lot of money to mine, or does cost a lot of money to mine. It also is very high energy, or use a lot of energy.
Anonymous transactions. They're not reversible transactions. The Gates Foundation does a lot in terms of digital currency, but those are things where you can see who's making the transaction. So digital money is a good thing. And, there's a different approach that's local currency and attributed and, deals with all the money laundering and terrorism type regulations, and yet gives you the very the convenience and the low cost of transaction. And so, our foundation.
Convenience, low cost transaction, Ripple XRP. What is that video? See that book? I'm sorry, this is where my brain works. I think it says Climate something. What book is that he has back there?
Foundation is very proud that in the pandemic, a lot of the countries we funded to do this were able to get money out to their citizens very, very efficiently. So that's something that it's not got the visibility of Bitcoin, but the move towards digital money that we're very engaged in is a super positive thing that eventually will get to even the poorest countries.
Boom, there you go, even playing field. Okay, so look at it. I was going to say the name, but they'll shut down my damn account. It's so crazy. With Ripple backing XRP Ledger to become carbon free. Okay, these are all things I've gone over before. I'm just reconnecting the dots for you guys. I'm just trying to help you get away from just the narrative of the SEC lawsuit. The XRP Ledger is to become one of the first carbon free blockchains. The news was announced today by XRP Ledger Foundation, Ripple, and EnergyWeb. The foundation has purchased Energy Attribute Certification, EAC, similar to renewable energy certificates, to recover the power used by networks each year. Just a little bit of bullish news as well. 45 days away, Warriors. SEC publishes VanEck Bitcoin ETF application, kicking off decision clock. 45 days, Warriors. If they approve this, shit's going to go buck wild. Think about that, Warriors. In Canada, I think it was Canada, they approved the first Bitcoin EFT. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was Canada. When it hit, it was huge. When people see this, they are going to be bullish as hell and FOMO into cryptocurrency, Warriors. This is getting fun, Warriors. This is getting really, really fun. Jerome Powell signals low interest rates and says there's no end in sight. The middle class, this is not the good part, is going to get wiped out. Think about that. Your currency is deflating as we talk right now. Your gas prices are going up, and 99% of you are just going to watch this for entertainment. That's a fact. 99% are going to watch this as entertainment. And about 10 years from now, a lot of you are going to say, I saw this hairy guy with a beard who said, don't believe a word I say, and I should have listened to him. I just saw a TikTok video that somebody tagged me on where she shared a story. She shared a story of about, I think it was, I don't want to speak out of school. It was right before the bull. It was when Bitcoin was, I think, 50 cents or something like that. I'm going to mess the story up, but here's the concept of it. Somebody offered to pay her in Bitcoin, and I think they were going to give her 10 Bitcoins for this products and service she did, and her family talked her out of it. They talked her like, oh, it's crap, don't do it, and she did a TikTok about it. Imagine if she would have kept those 5 Bitcoins right now. Imagine that, Warriors. Let's do the math. So if she would have kept those 5 Bitcoins, and I messed up the whole story, I think the amount of Bitcoins was wrong, but it was about 50 cents a Bitcoin, I believe. So you figure if it's about $60,000, she would have had $300,000. $300,000. But she allowed somebody who had no education on cryptocurrency, who had no experience in cryptocurrency, had no experience in understanding the banking rails and the old archaic SWIFT system, talk them out. They're probably wearing their fanny pack, checking their beeper, pulling out change out of their pocket and saying, you know what? We're always going to write checks, honey. My mom is probably the only person that still writes checks, but guess what? She's in the crypto game, Warriors. That's all I got to say today, Warriors. It's going to be a great day to be alive. If you want to join, it is a great day to be alive. If you want to join our private Warrior Academy, click the link down below. Cryptocurrency call every single Thursday. Technical analysis call on Friday. Discord with over 700 Warriors. You get access to my portfolio, not a financial advisor, not financial advice. One of the best exit strategies in the crypto space, because if you don't have an exit strategy, you're going to get wrecked because the billionaires aren't going to tell you what they do. They're just going to pull the rug on you. And if you don't pull profits, you're going to be very disappointed in the crypto space, Warriors. So everything you need is in our Warrior Academy. Also, the 120-day challenge, work out with me live daily, nutrition, mindset, goal setting, subconscious mind programming, and wealth. There's no program like it in history, and we offer 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. We're that confident. So click the link down below, join our Warrior Academy, and as we always say, Warriors rise. Let's go, Warriors.